What's up, guys? Stitch Productions here, and today we're going to be doing another Godzilla vs. review, and today we're going to be looking at the MonsterArts Godzilla x Kong, the New Empire Kong, and the Hiya Toys Godzilla vs. Kong. Now, these two have been a figure long time coming for me to review. I have been using this Godzilla vs. Kong for all my size comparisons for every single Godzilla review, and I've never even handled the MonsterArts figure, so this is going to be my first time handling it. I originally, didn't really want this figure at all just because I wasn't really a fan of its proportions and its look, but I thought this is worth giving it a shot, and I couldn't really find the original Godzilla vs. Kong MonsterArts figure in time to get this review out. So I just got the New Empire one. It was on sale on Amazon, and it's the same articulation. So let's get into the packaging, shall we? The MonsterArts packaging is very nice. I mean, you get a nice image on the front, get some side imaging on the back, and you even get an open box on the back, so you get a good view of the figure with some production photos of it. So yeah, that's pretty awesome that we have this figure with an open box. I think this might be the first open box I've seen in the MonsterArts release, but I could be wrong. And then we have the Hiya Toys one. This is actually the first Hiya Toys figure I ever purchased. That's a lie. That was actually Rodan. It was Rodan and then Kong. And I got this guy for 40 bucks. And, it's, not really a fan of the packaging style of this. It almost makes it look like a retail figure. I feel like the photography make this figure look really cheap. I don't know why. It just makes it look extremely plasticky. I know it doesn't look like that in person, but still. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the packaging. Let's break these two out of the packaging and start talking about the figures, shall we? So here we have the Hiya Toys figure, and so if you guys know anything about this figure and my opinion on it, I believe this is the worst Hiya Toys figure release that they've done, and I am extremely disappointed. I got this figure on sale, and I'm like disappointed with how this figure looks and feels. I mean, like, if this was my first Hiya Toys figure, I'd say it probably wouldn't have given me, like, bad expectations, just because I didn't know what I was getting in for. But after handling Rodan, Godzilla, Skull Devil, like, all those figures, great articulation, great paint work, and I feel like this figure just doesn't do any of that. First things first, I want to talk about the paint. I don't think the paint is actually that bad on this figure. A lot of things are painted really well, like the scars, the skin, and the face is also really well sculpted and painted. But I really don't like the fur paint on this figure. It just feels like they molded the figure and put a brown wash on top of it. And I feel like that doesn't really, I don't know, it just makes the figure look cheap. It doesn't really look like hair. I mean, under lights like this, it kind of works, but in person, it just makes him look like he's like covered in dirt or something like that. And you're probably noticing that I'm letting him stand like this. Why don't we start going into the articulation, shall we? So, the biggest issue with this figure is his lack of articulation. So, this is the normal basic stance you could get the figure in. Normally, you can leave a figure's arms going down, but this guy's arms are always like this, and I could probably mod it by cutting some of the plastic out or something like that, but I shouldn't have to. I mean, this is supposed to be a premium figure. This is one of the new figures from Hiya Toys, so this, or new at the time, so this should be good, and this should be, like, premium. But it's not. So for posability, head can move left and right, can look up and down, arms can go up that much and punch forward that much. He cannot really punch his chest. You can make it look like that, but the arms are unable to reach that far. Has a swivel here, a double jointed elbow, a swivel at the wrist, a swivel at the waist, can do the splits, can kick forward that much and kick back that much, has a swivel there, a double jointed knee, and a kind of tight ball-jointed pivot on the feet. So the articulation, while not being bad, it's definitely, you know, not what you'd imagine for a character as posable as Kong. I mean, this guy punches, throws, he's folding around, all that, and, you know, it doesn't really pose that well. So, yeah, this figure does kind of stink with posing, but let's go into the accessories, shall we? First things first, this figure does come with 2 alternate faces, that being one screaming face and one growling face. And again, the paintwork is very sloppy. I mean, the teeth basically look like he was eating shit. Like, that's the best way I could put it. The teeth are very dirty, very, I don't know. I don't really know why they chose to do it like this. I mean, I've seen what they could do with other figures, you know? So having the teeth be this messy does kind of stink. He does come with some knuckle-dragging hands, but this doesn't really make sense because he can't even do a knuckle-dragging pose. He does come with 2 clapping hands, open hands, so that's pretty cool. And he does come with 1 set of closed fists and 1 set of open fists. Now, you're probably wondering, why am I not just taking these out and showing you how to do them? That's because switching these pieces is a pain in the ass. So, taking off the head, let's put on the screaming face. Come on. So it doesn't want to go in, of course. Every photo that you're going to see me taking, it is not fully plugged in. I am just laying it on top because switching out both the head and the hands is a difficult job, and you need to use a blow dryer to do that. And I think that really sucks. You know, I really hope that they fix this with the upcoming Godzilla, the New Empire Kong. I know they do it with the Skull Island Kong. I have that figure, but, you know, I really wish that, you know, you're able to actually take out the hands and take out the head with ease, so that really sucks. And the last accessory this figure comes with, let me just put its head back on. Since that was the head, that's the face that comes packed in, so it doesn't need as much force, but you could see how loud the clicking is. It comes with his axe that you could put in any one of his hands. So there you go. And the axe looks pretty nice. I like that you can open it and split it in half, but the fact that this figure can't pose, he can't hold his axe with both of his hands, he can't really do a good, like, flying pose. So it's like, you know, it's just not a well-posable figure, so the fact that you can't do anything with it just is a shame. But I think that's about it talking about this figure. How about we move on to the SH MonsterArts figure? And, you know, this, like I said, isn't the Godzilla vs. Kong release. That release is a much more brown paint scheme, while this one is going for the muted gray of the New Empire look. And it is the exact same molding on the figure, and it looks pretty nice. Way better in person than I expected. And to me, this still doesn't look like this on-screen model of the character, but I do think these proportions work for Kong. And yeah, it looks very nice all around. Great sculpt work all over. The arms can actually, you know, rest on the chest. So yeah, I guess we might as well just go into the articulation now. Head can move left and right. Oop. The head likes to come off, but can be up that far and be down that far. Can T-pose, has a swivel here, can punch forward that much and punch back that much, a swivel here, a double jointed elbow, a swivel at the wrist, a swivel here, a swivel here, a swivel here, can do a full split, can kick forward that much and kick back that much, has a double jointed knee, a swivel here, a swivel here, a swivel here, and some foot crunch articulation. So yeah, this figure's posability is way more what I wanted with a Kong figure. And, you know, even though this figure does look weird from some angles, you can get great poses that are very flush and fluid for Kong, and I think that's just great after handling the Godzilla vs. Kong Hiya Toys one. And so why not we just start getting into the accessories? Now, this comes with a lot of the same ideas of the accessories. It does come with an alternate face, that being a screaming face. And to be honest, I'm not really a big fan of it. You really have to like articulate it to kind of look menacing. I mean, he kind of has like an underbite, and I'm not really a fan of that. So I'd rather just keep this face on for the rest of the review. As for hands, he does come with a pair of knuckle dragging hands, some open hands, and some completely open hands, clapping hands. So yeah, this figure, and he also does come with his axe. I guess we might as well just switch the hand. All the hands are just on a basic ball joint, and you know, you can just swap out the hand simply like that. Doing this axe was not as fun as the other one, just because first things first, the paint and sculpting and plastic on this axe is way better. I think it looks way more intimidating, looks way more nice, just compared to this painted axe. I don't know, it just makes it look cheap. So I'm a big fan of this axe. However, putting it in the hands is way more difficult than the other one. Really would have liked if you could just pull it out and then close it back on like the other one. But yeah, that's about it for this version of Kong. It looks very nice, and I'm happy to have at least handled this. And I'm pretty surprised, to be honest, that this figure is this good. Like I said, I wasn't really expecting to like this figure, but let's bring in the other Kong and go on to our size comparisons, shall we? For size comparisons, here we have the Hiya Toys Godzilla vs. Kong, and the SH MonsterArts Godzilla the X Kong, the New Empire Kong, with Hiya Toys King of the Monsters Godzilla, Hiya Toys Skull Devil, SH MonsterArts Gigan, Rizcan Custom Toys Titanosaurus, Monstrous Minds Amulok, and Kevin. I think it's easy to tell who won this debate of who's the better figure. It's obviously the SH MonsterArts Kong. This Hiya Toys mold has disappointed me a lot, and that really sucks. I mean, granted, they have improved, they have made better figures, and they're making better Kong figures now. But the fact that this was their first Kong figure does kind of suck. And SH MonsterArts is not innocent in this too. This figure is just literally the exact same Kong figure that we got back in the Godzilla vs. Kong release. There is not really much new for molding except for some scratches on the face, and it doesn't even come with the bionic arm. So that kind of sucks. But if you had to pick which one was better, was a better figure, was a better fake, like, fun toy to play with, who has better articulation, who has better paint, I would honestly recommend the SH MonsterArts release. But there is a new Kong that I just got, the Skull Island Kong. So let's see if that figure is better than any of these next time. And if you guys enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and let me know what you guys thought of both of these figures. Do you have both of them? Which one do you like more? And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye, guys.